legendary story. Making one individual, one anchor, making that 100 million. Paul, do you believe it?
Why not? This is like part of their life.
There is a virtual sticker, right? So the sticker will be ranged from several cents to several $100s. Wow, this guy said, well, this paper sent me a castle. You will be so proud, so honored. And more people will come into your room.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Ji Xiaojun.
Hello from Beijing, I'm Louisa Lee.
You do remember last week, we talked about live streaming. And we forgot to ask the most important question. And I was planning that question for you.
Okay.
Since you were planning to do it part-time.
On the side, yes.
Yeah. How much do people earn by doing this?
I know. How much do people make? You know, that is the most important question.
There is a legend, actually, people doing this in this business. They keep repeating this legend. Now it has become a legend.
Yes.
Legendary story. Making over 100, wait for it, 100 million.
Yeah. Yuan, right?
You knew
is
about
this
it.
Yuan?
Come on, are you expecting dollars or
Well,
what?
it's $1 billion industry.
So,
But yeah, 100 million yuan, that's a lot of money.
yeah, but we're talking about an industry, no, multi-billion industry,
Yeah.
but we're talking about an individual making 100 million RMB.
Yeah. How did he do that?
I don't believe it.
Yeah. How
Let's
is that
ask
possible?
our guests. So welcome to our studio. We have a new guest, and we have Andy. You are...
I'm the founder and CEO for Next Entertainment.
Okay, you're the boss.
I'm the worker as well.
So we need to ask him what it takes, right?
Okay, we'll come
ask
back to you. And still, we have Joanna with us.
Hotel anchor.
Okay,
Joanna.
online anchor, but at the same time, she's also a TV host. And we have...
Yutong?
Yes, we have Yutong, a venture capitalist. So she is the boss behind the boss. No. And we have Paul, a observer. So whatever they say, you can say no to them. So the story, the legendary story, making 100, one individual, one anchor, making that 100 million. Paul, do you believe it?
Why not?
Yeah, you're always open,
Yeah,
to all the possibilities, right? But
Yes,
you
of
seriously, you do believe it is possible being an anchor online to make over 100 million?
Well, that's the amazing thing about the internet. Because I remember I had a friend who once, I asked him, I said, what are you doing now? He said, oh, I just, do some content on, people can read on the cell phone and, try to grow a business. I said, well, so how is it going? Oh, I made about 100 million last year.
No.
And people pay 50 cents for each piece that they read, and he made 100 million. Wow. So yeah, the thing about the internet is that you have the potential of really reaching a huge number of people.
So everything is just possible on this platform.
Yes.
So let's take a look. Let's take a look how he did it.
一人我饮酒醉，醉把那佳人成双对，两眼始终相随，只求他日能双归。娇女我亲抚琴，宴席他自竹林，痴情鸿雁心甘情愿，千里把君寻。说红颜痴情笑，曲动琴声太奇妙。我心狂那太高傲，我懵懂了无知太年少，弃江山望天下。
You know what? I feel like I could do that. I could make 100 million
You do
yuan.
it. You do it. Please, Lisa.
No, I need to prepare first. I need to prepare.
100 million is waiting for you.
No, that's a lot of pressure.
It's not that easy. But again, what is he doing? Basically, just sing a song, right?
It's a rapper, MC rapper. It's a new music style, I think.
It's almost like Chinese rap.
Chinese rap.
Yeah.
Chinese rap.
I mean, musically speaking.
Yeah. And speaking some interesting thing, and maybe communicate with your fans.
Musically speaking is right. I'm not talking to any musicians about this. I guess I can expect what they would say about this musically.
They don't think it's music.
But this, I mean, yeah, well, it's more about the words, about the lyrics, about the message, about the way he did it. How do you explain this, Yudong?
I think that's, some of the culture really originated from the internet, right? People like certain things that we wouldn't expect before, right? If you ask us when we build a platform, do we expect to see this? I would say no, right? But, we have, for example, we're always looking at YouTube, right? YouTube emerged in 2000, and then people are thinking, who will watch those, really short-framed, low-quality produced videos, right? Why don't you watch TV, right? It's really high definition, everything is very high quality. And then we see a lot of type of the content emerge there, and people actually like them. People like the people who are produce the content, and then people like to imitate whatever they are doing.
It's the model, the topic of the model. But Andy, what do you think of this piece, and why do you think people would like it?
In my understanding, right?
Yeah.
I know MC Tianyu. I think
this guy, yeah.
I think most important is China is big, right? We only know Beijing is
like this,
like the capital of the China. But a lot of people are different in this country. Their tastes are different. I think a lot of people will like a certain taste. Like a lot of old people, they like Guangchangwu, right?
People dance on,
on
a public square,
dance,
yeah?
Because they feel that's cool. That's a good way of entertaining and also relaxing.
Okay.
I think this entertains a certain group of people. It's a huge group, obviously, in China. The data prove that.
So
right?
again, we come back to the very fact that we have a huge population. It's only possible when you reach only a tiny part of that segment of population, that age group of that population as a huge number. So it's once again, it explains your argument, Paul. Anything is possible, right, online?
Yes, and not only that, you were talking about the quality of the music. It's not really about the quality of music. It's about his attitude towards life.
See.
And so much of entertainment is about people living vicariously through someone else's life. When you go to see a movie, when you read a novel, you put yourself in that position, and for 2 hours you pretend to be, in a different situation. Now, this way, you actually can live vicariously through someone else's life, that life is real. And you're seeing it being lived.
When it's happening.
When it's happening, and you feel connected to it. And there are kids who loved music, but their parents told them, don't do that, go and do your homework. And then they see someone who's actually just enjoying music and making a living that way, and they want a connection with that. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the music. There are people who sing so much better than he does, who doesn't attract so much audience because the ordinary people, young people, they have no way of connecting. But here, he provided an opportunity for people to feel connected.
Yeah, because he's making even more money than a lot of the A-list stars in China. Right?
Indeed, 100 million.
They
And
pale
then
in
put it in
comparison.
any country and anywhere is a huge number.
Yeah.
But one thing we need to clarify, though, I mean, that 100 million, he didn't actually make purely only 100% online. It's because he made himself a celebrity in a way, so he was invited to endorse some brands, and then that's how he made his money. Again, to be so influential, to be such a huge celebrity in a way, it's still a miracle, I would say.
And he proved himself that he has legions of followers. He has a lot of followers. He has huge popularity.
Yeah.
So
should be more than 20,000 people, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Now, once again, but here is the very issue coming back to the very topic we started with. How much do people earn? How much can people make, by doing this?
Okay.
We have a figure. Only 5% of all people doing live streaming as a host, they can make over 10,000 yuan for a month. That's nearly $1,500 for a month. Well, it doesn't sound much, but I mean, it's higher than the average income for a month in China, it's 5%. It's a very small percentage. In other words, 95% of all people doing live streaming earning less than that.
10,000 yuan. Yeah.
And 72% earning less than 100, that's it, 100 yuan. So is that the picture you're feeling, Joanna?
Yeah. I think I can. For me, I can.
You're
earn,
falling which category? 5%?
I think first. Yeah, 5%. Yeah.
Wow,
Because I'm lucky
congratulations.
enough.
Why don't you
Yeah.
quit your TV job then once again? Okay,
it's my part-time.
So, yeah, that's how you feel the business is like.
Yeah, yeah.
What about your employees? Not your employees, but your anchors on your platform.
Yeah, I think the content generation is always within that 5 or 10%
Okay.
range, because less usually the people pay for the top.
As an anchor, you have to respond very quickly
Yeah.
to any, say, replies or any movement or anything that is going on the app, right?
Yes.
You have to respond.
Response, and maybe I have to make fun of them and tell them some jokes. It can help you, like, for example, some big tipper come into your room and his name is really funny. And you should like interacting with him immediately to keep him in your room, and maybe he will become
How
a
do
big
you know
tipper.
they're big tippers?
Because every time when big tipper come in, they will have Jew. There's a mention.
So they already have a status
Yeah,
in the chat
yeah.
room.
You
right?
have a
So
message.
that's done
That's
by
a
you,
feature.
right?
Yeah.
By the platform, by the
Yes,
investors.
platform.
So
Yeah.
you see how much
There
he
is a
spends.
label. Say, hey, here we
Label
have the
logo.
big boss coming in.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah, and also I think it's not only for the streamers; it's also for the fans, right? You know, the fans will be celebrating, like, oh, you know, who and who is coming in. So they are also welcoming, you know, like somebody maybe with a higher rank or higher influential in this community to come and join them.
No, it's more like the red
Yeah.
carpet. Say, now, ladies and gentlemen, the big tipper of the day.
And you roll on the
when
red
you
carpet, right?
You can almost hear the music and the applause and
Yeah.
everything.
We have
so
the
the
music
ones who are
box.
not announced,
Yeah.
whose names are not announced, will be, oh yeah, this feels good.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Paul, it feels good. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul in.
And actually, when a big tipper comes in, it actually influences many of the other audience, especially the newer audience. You know, there's so many rooms that they could go into, and they're just kind of hopping around, and then they see one room that one or two big tipper come in. They say, oh, maybe this is one of the more interesting rooms. They will give you a little more time.
Yes.
They will have a little more patience, and so give you a better chance to make them a more regular visitor.
Is there a competition between tippers?
Yeah.
Right? It's
There will
also
be.
a men's world, right? Because most of the viewers
The
are
anchor usually
are
will host that competition. Like, wow, you need to send more gift to me and blah blah. Thank you. And
You
give me
ask
more
that
stuff.
directly?
Yeah, directly. It's a
Yeah,
way.
we
it's
we
one
tried
way.
it earlier. We do ask directly.
Yeah.
You have different ways of doing it.
Different way.
Okay,
yeah.
show me.
For example,
I'm the big tipper.
you are the big tipper. Wow, come
Now,
inside.
ladies and gentlemen,
Gentlemen.
the big tipper. Woo.
And I can see your high rank.
Yeah.
You have your rank.
And then I'm in your room.
Yeah.
So what do you
okay.
do?
I will say, welcome, welcome. How's your day? And
Okay.
I'm happy. I prepared a song for you. And I will sing that song like the MC Tianyou and whatever. I interact with you. And maybe after you listen my song, you feel so happy. And you give me a magic
Or not.
castle. Or not. And I will use other way. Like
Yeah.
my joke.
There are other ways.
We want to explain this virtual gift.
Uh-huh.
So this magic castle that
Exactly.
you're talking
All
about.
these big tippers, how do they pay the tip?
Yeah, they will give the money. So normally that there is a virtual sticker, right? So the sticker will be ranged from several cents to several $100s. So that's
Several $100.
right.
US
US
dollars.
$100.
Right.
What is the highest gift? What is the most
The
Is
impressive
it not
gift?
high enough? Hundreds of dollars.
Oh, magic castle.
If you send your magic
if the
castle.
big tipper send you the magic castle,
Okay.
and every live streaming room can see your castle and see who gave you the castle.
For that 2 seconds?
Yeah, for that 2 seconds. Everybody can see you. Wow, this guy sent, well, this paper sent me a castle. You will
Okay,
feel
so
so
what?
proud, so honored. And more people will come into your room. More people will come into your room.
That depends on the platform.
Okay.
In our platform, we don't show to other people. We only show in that room.
I see.
Okay.
Right, right. So once again, and then still, I mean, so interested in all these tipping techniques. So one, you have different values, all these stickers of different values, ranging from cents
to
hundreds of dollars. The highest could be, I don't know, $500-600. That would be even higher.
I think $700 maybe.
$700 for one
Sticker.
virtual gift
Yes.
that it will last for 3-4 seconds.
Yes.
On
10
the
seconds
screen.
sometimes, I would say. Yeah.
I don't know, even it lasts for
Seconds,
1 hour, 10 minutes, I don't know. It's $700, right? And then people would wow the gift and then gone.
Yeah.
And
Gone.
these gifts are converted into cash for the anchors and also for the platforms.
You're so interested in, how much of it, what is the proportion of it, that $700, say, if you get a castle?
I can
would be
get
yours?
like a 70%.
70%.
Yeah.
So you get 30%.
I
No,
think
the
that,
platform gets
depending on that
30%.
varies, and also that varies maybe from platform to platform, and also
Right.
some of the top streamers may have a special good take rate.
So
Oh.
that's the
Same with-
business model.
Same like agencies, right?
That's
so
the-
if you're famous, then you have a bigger cut. If you're, let's say,
the
famous,
bargaining power
yeah.
would be
But
different,
normally
right?
it's fair, like everybody is the same, and
Okay.
we split it also with the App Store.
Yeah. When I come to Paul, it's not about the business model. It's more about that $700 virtual gift that will last for 10 seconds on the mobile phone. That you are paying someone you've never met in your real life. How do you explain this logic?
Well, I haven't met a big tipper.
And you're not a big tipper yourself? Not in that way?
Not in that way. But so the only reference I can think of really is I'm referring back to 100 years ago, of the person who's paying for going to a Chinese opera where they don't sell tickets. Anyone can go in there, and if you like it, then you pay different amount that you determine. And when someone pay a big amount, it will be announced. So and so paid, so you get like a virtual honor, and also the knowledge that you are contributing to keeping this in existence. And for some people, it is a way of bragging.
To show him, to show the manhoodness. To show the manhood.
Yeah, something like that. And sometimes there would be competition, and for different reasons. And the only thing I can think of was one time I wasn't there, but I heard about, was just a few friends, after they had a drink, and I think they got a big promotion or they got a big contract or something. So they were just having some fun. And then one of the things they did was to go into a virtual room, and basically it was these boys are going to spend a few thousand yuan or 10,000 yuan tonight. They spend some of it in a bar, some of it in a restaurant, and then they're going to throw some into these chat rooms.
Yeah, it's almost like in a restaurant or in a bar, say, hey, everyone, next round, all me.
Something like that.
Kind of the same idea.
Exactly. And in some circles, they do that. They do that, just like going to a bar. And I noticed in the statistic that other than some young people, there is a population that is really fairly young, but maybe up to the in the early 30s age of young professionals, young business people, and this is like part of their life.
Let's take a break first, and then when we come back, we'll continue our discussion, and I want to talk about who are the tippers.
Yeah, I'm wondering who. Yeah.
Yeah, you're watching Crossover.
And follow us on Facebook and Instagram by searching CGTN Crossover. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Live streaming itself is a game, right? We talk about leaderboard. We talk about competition, which arises by anchors.
As a freelancer, your income is really unstable. You could go months with very little income, and then you get a big amount of money coming in. So these people, they feel a need to somehow balance it. So when they have big money coming in, they need to please the universe, you know, to let some money out.
Welcome back to the studio.
So let's talk about who are the tippers.
Yes.
Who are really paying all these big tips?
I think we go from the who watching the live streaming,
Okay.
right? And then who pay the live streaming. I think generally people who have not experience of online entertainment, like playing games or like watching game live streaming or watching maybe videos, different kinds of videos, they are more than likely to watch live streaming because they already know that. And then the payers are varies, right? If we talk about big tipper, because we have smaller ones, medium ones, and then big ones. The smaller ones are usually from the people who from appreciation. The medium ones are usually from a gaming perspective, I think, because live streaming itself is a game, right? We talk about leaderboard, we talk about competition, which arises by anchors. They have different kinds of gaming elements. You can also level up as well if you tip more, right? So I think that the medium tippers are from that. The big tippers are generally from two perspectives. The first perspective is I'm really, really interested in the streamer. I want to build a really strong connection with the streamer, right? I want to be different.
You want to stand out from everyone else.
I want to stand out from the
them
room.
to pay attention to you. To
I'm the
notice
only
you.
one, right? The second thing is to actually gain more fans, because if you think about not people, the reason they pay or not is get all the people to add them as fan, like follow. Like I want, maybe for example, I want. He has 130,000 fans.
Yeah, 130.
Like say, if I want 200,000 fans, I don't need a live stream. I can send a gift, and people will follow me. Other people will try to follow me.
Yeah.
And
Really? So people also follow the tipper as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Interesting.
I
To
think-
catch to catch the attention.
Yeah.
You know, to create the attention.
yeah. Because I want more friends. Maybe I also want to do business with other people.
I do have some facts to share with you. Who are the big tippers? The top 5 professions of big tippers are, first one, freelancer. That's okay, understandable.
Yeah.
Corporate staff. Are they likely the ones who are willing and ready to pay tips? Paul? You think so?
Well, it could be.
Okay. Yutong, yes, you agree?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are actually are ordinary people around us, or independent business owners. We talk to some of them. They have their own business, but they also have a lot of time where they feel they want to connect it with people around them. So they go to this live streaming platform, and also they are. Economically, they are independent, so they are willing to spend money virtually in this way.
But we're only just talking about corporate staff members, not these,
Not the
executives.
executives, yeah, just ordinary people.
Okay. Third one, service staff. I'm not quite sure about what it
Service
means.
staff.
Maybe people from the service sector? They understand how difficult it is to try to entertain people, right? To entertain
So they
others.
appreciate, right?
Exactly.
They appreciate the service.
So, Joanna, you have no idea who they are, what professions they're in when you come across these big tippers?
How about your big tipper? Do you know what he does?
My big tipper, he is an investor, also
You have
investor.
that. You know that individual one.
I know that individual one.
Wow.
This guy is also in Shanghai, and this guy is a very big investor, and also he has his own money. Also, he told me he is a rich second generation. Am I right? 富二代.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, this guy and
Someone that came from family money, basically. Right?
yes, another guy.
Is she after you? Or
Yeah.
He's a big tipper. Yes, then yes.
just a big tipper, or or
Yeah, just a big tipper.
Okay.
And because I share some financial
maybe
knowledge.
he fancies you, or
Yeah,
no?
yeah. So maybe. No,
Okay,
for
but you
many
don't care.
reasons. Yeah, I don't care.
Have you met him?
No.
What is
No,
the most
not
you've
in
gone
person.
you received from him, tip-wise?
Magic Castle.
Okay.
Okay.
The fourth one, corporate executives. That's like the same explanation for the executive staff. Here comes the fifth one. Paul, I want you to pay special attention to the fifth category. The top 5 professions of big tippers. Ranking number 5. University professors.
Well, this kind of surprised me a little bit. But the one that I thought was really interesting for me actually is number 1, freelancer.
Freelancers.
And the reason for me, this has to do really with not just Chinese culture, I think Eastern or Buddhist culture. Because as a freelancer, your income is really unstable. You could go months with very little income and then you get a big amount of money coming in. So these people, they feel a need to somehow balance it. So when they have big money coming in, they need to please the universe, to let some money out. And also number 3, the service industry people. Many of them, part of their income depend on tip. And for you to be generous with tips actually is good omen for you to receive more tip in the future. So both of these, it's really culture related.
But not university professors.
Well, university professors, I'm a little bit surprised. The only thing that would come to my mind right immediately is that in their lives, they have been quite stressful, and the life has been quite, the work has been quite, how should we say it? They don't have enough variety and excitement.
No entertainment at all.
No entertainment. So, and they have no time to, to bar hop and then to go to nightclubs, things like that.
And buy drinks for friends.
Yeah, and so they come in here and just kind of get it out of their system.
Yeah, but we have to bear in mind that once again, this is done, I guess, online. So it really depends how accurate it is. Really depends on how honest the respondents are. And sometimes we'll say, what do you do? I'm a university professor. So what do? You have to buy it, right? When I say I'm a university professor. Yeah. So I don't know how accurate that is. It's just, it's just there for some reference.
Yeah.
The tippers. Okay, let's take another break, and you have to tip us to make us come back for the next segment. You're watching Crossover, but actually we have to tip you to keep watching Crossover.
And make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll be right back.
For the big tipper, as I mentioned, maybe China is the biggest market for that.
A lot of things happening in China. Originally, we are taking things from the West, right? Copy to China. In recent years, we see a huge trend of copy from China. And live streaming is one of the things.
In a few years, there will still be live streaming. But the company that's really successful would be because they have live streaming, but also they use this time that they bought with the tipping model to develop other functions, to be able to do other
branch
things.
Out.
To branch
say
out.
For e-commerce services.
Absolutely.
Right? Welcome back to the studio.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about live stream.
Yeah.
It's more about the business. You're interested in the which side are you more interested in? About being an anchor, making some extra bucks, or being a venture capitalist or a runner of a platform who runs,
I'm just trying to understand the whole concept of it.
That's it.
Yeah, and we'll see.
You haven't decided
Keeping
yet.
my mind open.
You haven't
yes.
decided yet. But talking about this, the business model, once again, I have to mention, because it seems to me it's so unique that this model in the Chinese market, we're running it in this way, we're doing the tipping thing. There could be some contradiction of policies in the future. I don't know, maybe with Apple, because, they're doing it with WeChat. I don't know what happens in the future, but so far it seems tipping is the way that you're making some extra bucks. The platform is, based your business on all this tipping. Your revenue come from tipping mostly.
Right, currently, the current status.
That's how it's designed. So your revenues come from all these virtual gifts or stickers, and is that how it's run in the West too, in the
Right
US
now,
too?
yes. Right now it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The customers there, are they willing to pay $700 for a virtual castle that will last for 10 seconds on the mobile screen?
I think for the big tipper, as I mentioned, maybe China is the biggest market for that. But I think for the small tipper and the medium tipper, it's almost same for everywhere.
But it's all tipping.
Yeah,
it's all tipping. The model is the same.
Yeah. But I think another part about live streaming is about the fans. It's not just about tipping, right? Because I think right now, because in China, the industry is designed more towards the tipping because they feel, oh, I designed this product. They will tip it more than I would design a product to serve this purpose, right? So I think the product is kind of designed for the
tipping
culture, tipping culture.
For the tipping culture.
Yes.
The online tipping culture.
Yes.
You're talking about your platform also in the States, right? But not the platforms in the States. You're talking about your
Yes.
particular platform.
So I think what we see is for our platform, for example, for example, in Japan, Japan has a tipping culture, but they are not a big fan of the big tippers. They don't want to get famous because I give money, right? Even in Japan, when in the real life, right, real entertainment world, when they tip the money, they don't tell you how much it is.
Actually, it's a different culture, right?
Yeah,
So
they don't
they're
like to show off.
Yes, yes.
But I still want to come back to the very question of the business model of tipping, the tipping culture. How, say, the investors are actually encouraging this model of encouraging more big tippers to pay big tips. Is that how? Because, I mean, I don't know, because this IT industry is really developing very quickly in China, all pushed by these investors. And they push this for a reason, to be listed someday.
Oh, I will say investors actually play now as a large role in terms of business innovations and technology innovations. And I think in China, we have been fortunate to see there are a lot of things happening in China. Originally, we are taking things from the West, right, copy to China. And recent years, we see a huge trend of copy from China. And live streaming is one of the things, including mobile payment, bike sharing, along with some other innovations. I think people are constantly trying what they can do in the social network, the whole space. And they see this actually work for a certain scenario. So I will not say that, like as an investor, I can push for a certain direction. I think at the end of the day, it's the user who choose, what content they like, what streamer they like, and how they want to pay to show their support and establish those connections.
But
with
in
the
fact, in
streamers.
reality, it's quick money. Because when you tip, you can instantly see the revenues being generated while you're producing your contents online.
It is. I think
You're not playing, say, a long-term strategy.
I think long term is getting back to Andy's point about cultivating their fan base in the platform. Because think about before, performance and their audience, they don't have a place to constantly, interact with them on such a high frequency, right? Before we have Weibo or, in the West, we have Twitter, Facebook, you post something, right? Write a little paragraph to interact with your fans. But now it's video format, face to face. Every day, you talk to your fans.
That's all good. All
Yeah.
that said, if you cancel the tipping function, do you think you would still do that?
I think for certain content, we actually are thinking about it, right? For example, for gaming live streaming, for e-commerce live streaming, for education purpose live streaming, the tipping culture is not very strong there because that's not the natural way to interact with the host or the streamer.
Andy, you're new in this business. You're only in for
8 months.
8 months. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think I feel pretty optimistic about the industry.
In the future?
Yeah, as they mentioned, it's a new industry, and also a lot of young people are adopting that. It takes some time to build a real, like a scaling business model, but I think it's really authentic. I like that part really well because I think a lot of content or online content are too much decorated, right? Everyone trying to show how perfect the life it is. I think authentic will be very important.
Some real life.
Yeah, real, authentic. You can't fake it, right? You can't just say, create a video, I spend 5 hours to change it and upload it.
But you have
What are you saying? Are you saying crossover is being modified all the time for 5 hours? Actually, it's longer than that. we call it editing, right?
Yeah, there's a post-production process.
I think it's different, right? Because the media, the traditional media are really serious, right? Because it's organization, it's really representing some authorities, right? But I think the internet it's different world. People are trying to show what they want to do. There's no one really control that, right? I think eventually people want authentic content in internet.
Okay.
The second thing is, I think, because the technology and infrastructure will help to make live streaming easier and also make streamers are easy to broadcast. For example, right now, the AR technology can make you look much attractive than.
Yeah, they also have some makeup features, right? Or
Yeah.
filter.
You don't need
So you
to
don't even
do
need
the
to
real
put,
makeup.
Yeah, you don't even need to put makeup on, right?
You
can just
always
use the
look
app.
beautiful.
Yes.
You always have that
Yeah.
face value, huh?
Yeah.
Then I can
That's
be
the word we created in these 2 episodes. Yeah.
then I can be a streamer because I have talent. I may not physical attractive enough, right? But I can be a streamer because the technology makes you easier to
reach that,
to be
right?
more confident, and then you show your talent from your heart, and then you show yourself. I think eventually that will help to lower the bar for the streamer.
It's more about who you are
Yeah.
as who you are in real life, not just in front of the camera, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's Instagram versus Snapchat. In Instagram, everything is so beautiful,
Yeah,
and then
'cause you
you
have all
will
these
showing that
filters.
I have this branch in Sunday, ocean-facing view. But in Snapchat, you're just making fun of life.
But we still need fantasies.
We need both.
Okay, we need both, right?
Well,
So, yeah.
also in the, I think this current model is a good way of attracting enough users so that you have this big customer base. But then it is really the innovation that you do in the coming years that determines your success. It's like many years ago, there were quite a few search engines. There was Google, there was Yahoo, and so on. And what Google did was that it was a successful search engine that attracted a lot of users. And then in the coming years, they had innovations that gave these users other reasons to use them. And if you stayed a search engine, you would be dead. And so right now we're talking about live streaming. And I think in a few years, there will still be live streaming, but the company that's really successful would be because they have live streaming, but also they use this time that they bought with the tipping model to develop other functions, to be able to do other
branch
things.
out.
To branch
say
out.
for e-commerce, for instance.
Absolutely,
Right? Yeah.
absolutely.
Today we're sitting here talking about this business, the industry of live streaming, but it's a new industry. It's only been there 2 years.
2 years.
2 years only. They say 2016 was the year of live streaming. Why 2016 was called the year of live streaming? Yutong?
Yeah, I think there is an explosive growth we can see in terms of user adoption.
Out of policy?
I think there are some major drivers behind it, right? I think for one is the obvious one that we have a better cell phone that have a much higher computational power,
Okay.
longer battery life, and also the data plan is much cheaper, right? Now we can use data more than before.
Bandwidth.
So that's the infrastructure side. And then I think another side of it is also the mobile payment, so that we can have the instant gratification.
We have
of, you know,
WeChat Pay, we have Alipay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that will be also an enabler for such business.
I can share one thing I see in Japan, very interesting. Because we are talking about live streaming, right now it's more about young people and young, especially female streamers and a lot of male audience. That's the assumption, right? But I think in Japan, I actually know very popular streamer. She's a female, but she's doing cooking and also eating the food. She's getting extremely popular, right? And also a lot of audience are younger age, from 50 years old. They have different kind of demographics, but over 50 takes a big part of the fans. Then it's really hard to understand, right? Why all the old people want to watch her cook and eat food, right? Then I did a little bit of research. Later on, I found out because in the society, old people are lonely. Then they don't too much to do, right? So they actually follow the girl to see what she will cook tomorrow. Then they will buy the food, same food. And then while they live streaming, they will cook.
So they're actually watching it and cooking at the same time.
And then they eat it together.
Oh, so it's almost like a companionship.
Eating together.
Well,
Yeah,
she's
like
eating
live
virtually, yeah.
Oh, so
Virtually.
it's like a companion, an online,
Yeah.
online companion.
Well, it's not virtual actually. It's
Yeah, real
really
life.
happening.
Yeah.
It's in different locations. Being coordinated by this live streaming technology. I mean, they're watching cooking programs anyway, either on TV where they couldn't have the interaction function, where on live streaming apps they can have the live interaction.
They can, yeah. But this
Right.
is more real, right?
For practical reasons.
Yes.
Okay.
But for this live streaming, I can cook at 12 when she's cooking, when the streamer is cooking. Then when we're done the cooking, I can sit on the table, put the phone there, watch, and eat together.
So in other words, in the future, maybe not in as long as 10 years' time, we're going to have a crossover.
Online,
a real crossover.
live streaming version.
Online, yeah, each one carrying a mobile phone. You don't have to travel all this way to the studio, and we can sit in our living room. Basically,
And we can have our guests from different parts
little
of the
chat.
world. Yeah.
Exactly, if the bandwidth is good enough,
Yeah.
and then if the data is cheap enough, we can have that.
Yeah.
So I guess from what they are saying, what they're describing in the future, in 10 years' time, live streaming will be still there.
But it'll be branched out into different forms.
Exactly, different forms, different formalities. It'll be so much more diversified. So keep our fingers crossed for the future of live streaming.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you for joining the
insight.
show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of Crossover.
We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye. In celebration of the establishment of the 70th anniversary of China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, Crossover takes you on an adventure to the grassland and the northern steppes. Follow us to check out how ethnic Mongolians live their lives and what they're doing to preserve their identity. Don't miss out on this special episode.